What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel and welcome to my review of Joker Folie À Deux. Now, I really loved the first Joker movie. What Todd Phillips was able to do with that movie is show us a side of him that we haven't really seen ever before. It got nominated for a lot of Oscars, and at the time, it was the only R-rated film to hit the $1 billion mark. So going into Joker Folie À Deux, I was really excited because I wanted to see if this was going to be a hangover situation where Todd Phillips was able to strike some magic with that first film, but kind of falter with the second movie. And this movie is more of a bad romance than it is a love story. Now, there are some aspects about this movie that I really enjoyed, and I can appreciate them swinging for the fences, trying to hit a home run with some of these aspects, but some of these aspects just missed the mark entirely, and it made me wish that it was a little bit shorter than it actually turned out to be. The film clocks in at about 2 hours and 18 minutes, and while I don't feel like the runtime actually made the movie feel as long as it did, there are aspects about this movie that kind of stretch the runtime a little bit more. I kind of wish they had reined it back a little bit more. Starting off with the positives for this movie, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga in this movie are fantastic. They both sink into their roles great. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was able to give us a little bit more with his character than he did in the first film, which is something kind of impossible to do because I thought he absolutely killed it in the first film. So seeing him step into the limelight again as Arthur Fleck and kind of giving him a little bit more of another dimension that we haven't seen of him, I thought was great. I really enjoyed his performance, and I thought what Lady Gaga brought to the table was great. She brings to the table what Joaquin Phoenix brought to the table in the original Joker, where this isn't Harley Quinn as we all know her. She is kind of like the Arthur of this film because she goes by the name of Lee. I don't think they ever refer to her as Harley Quinn or Harley. They just refer to her as Lee, which I moderately liked. And I like the directions that they took with her, with kind of being kind of a admirer of Arthur Fleck and what he did in the original film. So there's kind of that connection there. And the thing that I appreciate about this movie is the fact that at its core, it is a courtroom drama, which a lot of people will probably not vibe with it because it might go on for a little bit longer. Arthur Fleck is being charged with the killings of the previous films. So now we are basically in this courtroom drama trying to figure out whether he's guilty or not. Some of it worked for me, other times it didn't. And I know a lot of people are going to be concerned about the musical aspect. Is it a musical? Is it not? The best way that I'm able to describe it is it's pitch perfect in a comic book movie's body. That's the best way that I'm able to describe it because that's exactly what I thought of leaving the theater. There are no original songs in here. These are just catalogs from the 1980s of the time period that Joker takes place in. So do with that information as you will. It is a musical, just not a traditional musical where everybody around Joker and Harley are singing and dancing as well. It's more of a self-contained musical where we're kind of seeing what's going on in their mind just through music, because there are moments where we are inside of either Harley's or Arthur's mind and the musical aspect starts, and then there are other times where they're just basically singing out loud, like Star-Lord in Avengers Endgame or at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's kind of like that. Do with that information as you will, but it's not a traditional musical. It's pitch perfect in a comic book movie's body, which there are aspects about that that I really enjoyed, but it just felt like there are some songs in here that just felt shoehorned a little bit too much to pad out the runtime, to make it a little bit longer than it actually should, because even though I didn't feel the runtime at all, I thought the 2 hours and 19 minutes actually flew by for me. I was invested every step of the way, mostly because I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on throughout the entire movie, because it is a tale of two different movies. It's a tale of a courtroom drama at its core, but around it, it's kind of a cover musical, and it just didn't know how to balance those two pretty well without making it longer than it actually should. Todd Phillips wasn't able to strike lightning in the bottle yet again, but the cinematography for this movie is still as beautiful as it was in the original film. The score in here I thought was used at the right moments without making it feel melodramatic. The performances are great. There are some moments of violence, but it doesn't go as strong as it does in Joker. There are some moments in the last 20 to 30 minutes of this movie that just feel like Easter eggs for the fans, so you know exactly where it might be headed in the future. Overall, it's a movie that I appreciate swinging for the fences and trying something new, trying something out of the box, and trying to catch lightning in the bottle. But at times, I like what they were going for. At other times, it just didn't know what it wanted to be. But overall, this movie is a vibe on streaming. Even though I love the cinematography for this movie, and I think this movie really looks as beautiful as the original film, you might come out really hating this movie because I can see where some people are just going to come out mad and confused. So check it out on streaming. But if you're really curious about this movie, check it out on a $5 Tuesday when it's a little bit more cheaper. And I think you're going to be able to enjoy it a little bit more that way. But those are my thoughts on Joker Folie À Deux. Have you guys checked it out? Are you planning on checking this film out? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll catch you guys for the next video.